Tennessee came to Dallas with plenty of momentum, having won the last 3 games, 35-0 over Ole Miss, 7-0 over Kentucky, and 43-0 over Vanderbilt. It was a Tennessee team that was loaded with stars. Bert Reschishar and Hank Lauricella led the way. 2 other members of that 1950 Tennessee team, center Bob Davis and fullback Andy Kozar. They reflected back on playing for General Neyland and playing in the 1951 Cotton Bowl.
University of Tennessee.
What do you remember about it? You lost early and then had to rebound and come on strong, didn't you?
Well, I guess the most thing I remember about the 50th season besides winning after Mississippi State beat us down there is we got a bad call down there and didn't give us a first down on the 14-yard line. And so I remember that, and I also remember the general saying after the ball game, you know, you win more than you're going to learn more than you in losses than you do wins, and don't be surprised if nobody speaks to you when you get back to Knoxville, because that's about the way it was. Right, Andy?
Yeah, I remember. Yes, it was not any different.
But the team showed a lot of character bouncing back and going.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we were just forming as a team. Actually, it was sort of a new group that got together in '50, and I think you could see as the season went along that we got better as the season went along, and I think the Alabama game was a big turning point for us because it was supposed to be the big game of that season, and of course the Kentucky game was really the big game because they had probably the best team Kentucky ever had, and we had a heck of a struggle there, and if for not one pass, you know, from Lauricella to Reschishar, that game would have been a tie, I think. And but I think the point is we developed very well. Like every ball game, we got better and better.
It's coming into this game.
I suspect that we didn't know a whole lot about them except what the coaches told us. We saw some film on them, and we saw more when they didn't ask us if we wanted to go to the ball game. And General said, you know, we've been invited and I've accepted the opportunity to play the Texas in the Cotton Bowl. They were big, a lot bigger than we were, and I guess that's looking at the film that they had a boy named Ken Jackson, a defensive tackle, and their people were just a lot bigger than we were.
Andy, do you remember the week of the game and going down to Texas and Dallas? What was that like?
Yes,
was that a good experience?
It was exciting. It was the first trip for a lot of us after the season. And I think Neyland was very excited about going to Texas and playing in Texas, the fact that he was a Texan and was proud of it. And I think he wanted to have a good showing. I think he felt he had a pretty good team. And as Bob just said, I think we knew very little about Texas except what we were told. But on first sight, I remember getting on that field and seeing the Texas team. They were dressed in white, which makes them look doubly big. They looked like the biggest team I'd ever seen. Pretty frightening.
And this is the great run by Hank Lauricella. Where were you during the play, Coach Davis?
Well, held the guy on the line, didn't block him, held him, and then got up and tried to make a block over on the sideline, and then sailed in right and made another block right as he got knocked down on the 6. So, you know, just a lot of running, not much blocking, chasing.
It had just started to rain right then?
It did. Started running right as we started. We started from the 20-yard line, and it started to rain, and it rained the rest of the ball game.
Hank Lauricella is the tailback
for Tennessee. Herky Payne.
But Herky Payne came in and got your first touchdown.
That's exactly right.
Why did they put Herky in there?
That was the normal procedure. Usually, if we got the ball down to the 10 or inside the 10, Lauricella weighed about 160 pounds. Herky weighed about 190 pounds. I think the 10 play or any of the off-tackle plays were much more powerfully run by Herky, and I think that was the reason they brought him in. I don't know if that's what you feel was happening.
Stronger runner inside.
Right.
And, of course, Herky threw for the touchdown. He didn't run for the first touchdown.
And we always kid him about throwing end over end. It was
and we always kid John Gruble because that's the only pass John ever caught, so he moved to Dallas after this got through playing, where they remembered him for doing something. That's all right. We tell him that.
Texas had a pretty good reputation coming into the game.
Oh, they did. They had a grand team, yeah. They were ranked above us. I think Oklahoma was one. I think, I don't know who was Second Army, but I think they were above us.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, they were.
Way above us.
Do you remember anything about the bowl preparations here before you went down there? How difficult, tough was that?
We practiced all the month of December. We didn't let up much, and we scrimmaged a lot of times. If I remember correctly, we hit a lot, and then we were ready to play when we went down there.
Did
you expect it to be a defensive struggle? Was that the key coming
Most of our games were defensive struggles. We had a great defensive unit. I mean, they were outstanding, and one of the very best, yes.
Reverse, Registrar, they played that pretty well.
Andy, talk fullback. What were your responsibilities?
In the fullback in the single wing, handle the ball quite a bit. Surprisingly, more than I think most people know. And the interesting thing is that Davis, who centered the ball, had so many different kinds of centering the ball that he had to do. He had to aim the ball here, there, and everywhere on each particular play. And he'd put it on my right knee, left knee, if I were spinning right, left, or up on the shoulder of the tailback. But the fullback handled the ball a lot. And then when he wasn't handling the ball, he was blocking or faking as if he were running a spinner or whatnot. But it was sort of the hub where things were happening, and the tailback was the key person in the backfield.
Herky Payne was Tennessee's short yardage tailback in the single wing. He threw a touchdown pass in the first quarter, and Tennessee led Texas 7-0 after one. Tennessee Football Classic's Vintage Orange. We look back at the 1951 Cotton Bowl game between Tennessee and Texas. Tennessee led 7-0 after one, but Texas came on strong in the second quarter. Again, the reflections of Bob Davis and Andy Kozar. Tennessee leads 7-0 after the first quarter. Think you're in pretty good shape, and then suddenly Texas comes at you in the second quarter, don't they?
Right, as everyone would expect them to. I mean, I think they thought Texas and the Texas people and most people in the country, I think, thought this was the best Texas team that there ever was. And that's why no one is, surprised by them coming back as they did.
So, Coach, they came out, they changed their game plan against you in the second quarter?
The general had said before the ball game that we'll be behind at the half, and we were 14-7. Said don't be disappointed at being behind, because they came out and played hard, and I say that there wasn't many great kicks in this ball game, and a lot of penalties, and there's one now.
So, now backed up, did the single wing change when you got backed up?
We got the kick block right there too.
Right there, and that's highly unusual for a kneeling team, is to get a kick blocked.
And
I didn't see where the guy came from.
Right guard and Haslam and Michaels. I'm not sure.
It
could have been over me. I don't know.
That block changed the complexion in the second quarter.
It certainly did.
Oh yes.
And
And see, they're the kind of team that they could move it from there. The idea was to keep them out with your kicking, and that's why the kicking was so important.
Now, they didn't play the single wing, did they, all the time?
No, we're the only one that played the single wing. Here's a fake. Oh, that pitch sweep.
Was it difficult practicing against the single wing all the time to go up and play a formation team like this?
That's what we thought, because they didn't see us but once a year, and nobody else was playing. Well, Princeton was still playing the single wing, of course,
right?
But not anybody down here.
Michigan was playing, and maybe UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA, Billy Martin.
Right.
That's right.
Those are the teams. They were the last teams to be playing the single wingers, and it's interesting that
Wyoming was playing it with Bowden, was coaching up there at that time. So,
and I think we must have been the last team to win a national championship with a single wing. I think we're if not, we're close to it.
Yeah.
You're still backed up in this thing.
We stayed that way.
It was brutal. I mean, they were very, very tough players. I remember getting a physical beating. They were bigger, as we said earlier, and they played really well. I mean, Harley Sewell was unbelievable. They had a number of guys play both ways, didn't they?
Ken Jackson was their left defensive tackle.
Bud McFadden was like 6'5", 250, 60, big people.
Was the forward pass at this time really starting to evolve? And
In the Southwest, it was big. In the Southwest Conference, a lot of throwing. I guess
Well,
Wally
Sammy
Butts
Ball
was
and all those
right.
people,
Wally
you know,
Butts
they-
is probably the person that pushed passing more than anybody in the Southeast. And we at halftime we were in there, and I've told the story many times, and I'm sure you have, that when we got into the locker room and everything, Neyland didn't say a word. The coaches didn't say anything to us. They sort of let us wander around, and it seemed like forever. And at one moment before we went back out, or a few moments, he called us together, and he stood before the group, and he said, "Men," he says, this is after we've been beat up physically and everything. He says, "Men, we've got these people right where we want them." And then he began to tick off all the reasons that we were going to get back into the ball game and win. And he was talking about their size and how they were going to get tired, how the rain was affecting them a lot more than it affected us, because of T formation, you handle the ball a lot more, you try to throw it. He said, "We'll intercept it." And he said, "You remember the days we practiced with a wet, soapy ball?" And we did, in fact, practice with a wet ball quite a bit. It was a normal procedure. But as he talked, you could just see, you could swell up a little bit, saying, "Wait, we may have a chance here." And he went on with with outlining all the reasons we were going to come back.
Coach Davis, he was a master motivator, wasn't he?
He really was. You know, I guess he told me one time I was too little to play, and I said, well, this was right after I got here, and I said, "Well, General, I'm either going to play for you or play against you, but I'm going to play." And he said to me, "Well, that's what I wanted to hear." So that's pretty good motivation.
So Tennessee here in the second quarter trailing 14-7. And the one thing also about the Cotton Bowl, they've got that big, long tunnel that you've got to walk up to your locker room. That seemed like it was about a mile and a half up there, I bet you, at halftime, didn't it?
Right.
Here they've got the single wing offense, and it's amazing now when you look at it, when one of the running backs actually turns his back, the fullback, to the line of scrimmage.
No, it's the blocking back. And when he on the buck lateral series,
Okay.
the blocking back turns his back to the line of scrimmage, and the fullback brings the ball up into his stomach, and then either gives him the ball or keeps it, and then it turns into an option play, actually.
So Andy, here's the single wing again. Explain the basic concept of it.
Well, the whole idea was to look as though you're going to run the sweep and then move back and throw the ball and not get it intercepted like we did.
That was a 19
Yeah, I
pass.
think they read the thing pretty well on that one.
14-7 at halftime. Did you
Yeah.
have a pretty good feeling?
Yeah, well, bad feeling until Neyland made his speech, and then the best part of that whole speech, and Hugh Faust was one of the coaches of the team, and he told me some years later that as Neyland was giving us this talk about how we were going to come back and everything, that what had happened, because Neyland did a very unusual thing. He told us after he was through talking to us, he said, "Now we will all laugh." And he sort of got us to laugh, ha, 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 ha. And we start breaking into this huge amount of laughter. And then he said, "Well, let's go out and get them." Well, we went out the door, and there was the Texas team in the hallway, in that tunnel, right outside our door. And can you imagine them hearing us laughing and getting ready to go back out? Well, it was all contrived. Apparently, Faust was supposed to watch when the Texas team came down to that spot, and then he'd give him the cue, and that's when he got into that bit. And then it was his way, as psychology he was using on the other team. And I thought it worked because we did pretty well. It must have unnerved him. I don't know.
With Texas, Tennessee trailed 14-7 at halftime. It took an inspiring halftime speech from General Robert Neyland to get Tennessee back in the game. Halftime's over. You were trailing 14-7. Got to make it down that ramp to head back out there and still face Texas. What did the general say as you're walking out the door?
As Andy he said, they're playing the eyes of Texas up on you, but they'll be playing the Tennessee walls before the game's over. So
So you felt pretty good coming down the ramp?
Well, those of us who could still smile and didn't have
Well,
our face
we were
beat up.
encouraged. I think with his halftime talk, he convinced, which he did very well. I mean, he would rationalize why you're going to do it, and it all made sense. We were in better condition. We were smaller. We did practice with a wet ball, and they did throw the ball a lot, and the ball was slippery, and they handled the ball a lot. And lo and behold, in the second half, they threw an interception or two, and they fumbled. And we did all kinds of things happen, and of course, as they happened, then it made what he said even more of a truism.
Got the ball first to start the third quarter. Was that an advantage?
In my mind, it didn't make any difference. I think neither would much rather for them to have the ball. Exactly. He kept the offense off the field, until the defense got him some good position on the field.
Any changes at halftime that you made in strategy?
I don't remember.
None.
Probably let Andy run the ball more.
Really and truly, they didn't talk to us that much, and not much was done. I think he stayed with his game plan.
How good was Lauricella?
Unbelievable. He was, as far as I was concerned, he had the speed and the ability. He played the tailback position as well as anybody I've ever seen play it. He was a long jumper. He was a good athlete all the way around. Everything he did extremely well.
Was Lauricella the best athlete on the team?
No, I'd say Bert Bretschauer. That would be my pick.
Bert was a great athlete.
He could have played anything.
Hank, in 1949, Hank played safety man on defense too.
Yes.
So.
And Bert played both ways.
That's right.
Actually, in that season. Yeah.
And there you are, Andy rumbling,
and
then
they
bring it
called
back.
that one back. Yeah.
You were the center on the single wing offense.
Yeah.
How difficult a position was that?
Well, I said I never blocked anybody, but held a lot of people, and so.
Well, let me speak for him. And it may sound like I'm building him up because he's sitting here, but he was unbelievable. I never saw a person his size. I don't think he couldn't have weighed 190 pounds if he did, but he blocked anybody and everybody that got in front of him, and on top of that, he got the ball where it was supposed to be. In other words, every time Lauricella would take 2 steps over or whatever, he had the ball in the lead pass. He had to pass it so many different ways that it was the most impressive thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I got a greater appreciation for it one spring. They tried to make me a center. And I got over the ball, and they put Ted Daffer on my nose. And Ted Daffer almost killed me in about 2 weeks. And I said, get me out of here. I want to live. So I got a great appreciation for what Bob did all those years, and did it extremely well.
Third quarter, when did you feel the momentum shift?
Really didn't shift till the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We played even, and just here we are, just trying to keep long runs down and put them in punt formation, get a fumble right here that helped. We picked up field position in the third quarter, but I guess we were offside right there, and they called it fumble back.
But that had to inspire you, the general's words.
Well, it's more like, in other words, what it does, it just gives credibility to what he said, and I think it builds, and this was sort of an attrition thing right now. We were banging and banging back and forth, and the group that was in better shape was going to emerge. And like in most games, you can see the thing go back and forth, and that's what this did. And then finally, we just got the momentum, and then we went ahead.
No face masks in this game, right?
Ah,
No
yes.
face mask.
One. I did.
You were wearing a broken nose, right?
Yeah, I had a broken nose.
But at that time, face masks were...
For sissies.
Yeah.
That's right.
You wore a face mask, and I was a big sissy. I could have cared less. If your nose is tender, I mean, it helped a lot to have that. As a matter of fact, I was emboldened. I mean, I think you get a lot braver, and that's why I listen to these arguments about people talking about face masks and how people use them as weapons. And I can see why. I mean, they do afford you some opportunities.
As a center, how'd you keep from getting your nose broken on every play, though?
Ducking and dodging. That's the only way, the guy, you want to get your head up quick
Interception.
so you could see what would happen, and there was an interception. But you know, you snap the ball, get your head up and see what that guy's coming at you. And so most of the time they were, you know, you had some that's throwing a lot of elbows, and most of the time you're able to duck.
Did the general teach getting that first good shot in early in the game?
I never challenged anybody away from the pile because they were all bigger than I was, and I didn't get any shots in at all. I was a perfect gentleman on the field, Bob. Yeah, we let the tough guys take care of the other stuff. And
This turned out to be a pretty bruising football game
Yes,
in the second half.
physically, it was a very, very difficult game.
Ted Dafford's a nose man for us, 67, and the quarterback for Texas is T. Jones. He was, and Townsend's a fullback, and Ochoa was one of the ends. I remember
Right,
some of those guys'
right.
names from. And run into Harley Sewell, who played nose man for him. He's a good friend of mine and used to work for the Rams.
General Nealon just didn't tolerate mistakes, though, did he?
Well,
Not very well.
yeah, you didn't make too many of them.
No, and he corrected that in practice. He had a number of different ways he would correct it, and one of them I remember is if you made a mistake in running a play, you had to run the length of the field to pick up a brick to bring it back, and you'd set it down, and then the next guy would take the brick down, next guy that made a mistake. You started out with getting grass, and then we got bricks, and then whatever else, but it really made you think twice, you know, when you got into a play and you didn't go the wrong direction or whatever, you did what you're supposed to do, but he had ways to impress you.
And you practiced down by the river, right?
Yeah, we had a river field, and we had an upper and lower Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson.
And we had a defense would take the freshmen they had in the upper Hudson, and we'd be at the lower Hudson with, or the reverse, with the freshmen there, and then we'd scrimmage and do whatever drills we were going to do with all the freshmen. They had two buses. We used to ride these two gray buses. So one was the offense bus, and the other was the defense, and they used to drive it back and forth to these fields.
Neither team could score in the third quarter in that drizzling rain at the Cotton Bowl down in Dallas. Tennessee, though, put on a fourth quarter rally. We'll show you that and talk about it when we come back on Vintage Orange. Texas heading into the fourth quarter of the 1951 Cotton Bowl game down in Dallas. General Robert Nealon had told his troops at halftime if they just kept the course, they would wear down the Longhorns in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what happened. So, still trailing in the game, 14-7, heading to the fourth quarter. The general had given you the pep talk, but wasn't working just yet.
We started picking up right here in this third quarter, and we're on the 50-yard line and got a little field position now. And
here's where it goes. We start
here,
making
right now,
hay.
we start Andy diving
Here's
for a
a
first
dive,
down.
Yeah, right. And they've been diving at Tennessee for years.
Here's a 10 play.
What's the 10 play?
That's the off-tackle play.
Now, all the plays were numbered, right? You just called
yeah.
one number in the huddle?
Yeah.
How would you determine if you went left or right?
Say left or right. Left 10, right 10.
Very simple. It was all simple and kept simple so that it wasn't very difficult to learn or pick up.
Were you not concerned that the other team might hear the snap? Or
They knew what the plays were.
Exactly. That's what was beautiful about football then, and before they had all these red dog linebackers and all that stuff. The whole theory of defense was they'd line up and go to the spot you were attacking, and you just try to outnumber them with the guys you had and bowl them over and move the ball. And then later on we played Maryland, and they start running linebackers in, and we'd have everybody up front blocked, and we'd look back and they'd have the tailback on the ground from running a linebacker in.
Could you feel right now that you're wearing them down?
Oh yes, you can see that the movement.
Here goes Andy. Knock the pile back, Andy. And he did.
Did you ever think if you could get it tied or get the lead that they might turn
Well, you
tail and
hope.
run?
That's what you hope, is that you keep pounding until you think they might, give in. There's a little help.
Yeah, that's right.
The guy just bumped you forward. That's not bad. And there's where this is the play. Yeah, this is the play right there.
That's right.
And Andy Kozar takes it in for a touchdown.
Right.
What number was that?
Oh, that was the 38. And
We missed the
Haslam,
extra point
you
right
guys,
there.
they blocked up the middle. That was unbelievable how they blocked Sewell. I have a still photograph of that thing, and the blocking was unbelievable.
One thing, we missed, Pat missed the extra point.
That's a good story.
And so he came to the sideline and, you know, had his head down, and the general said, we didn't come down here to tie, don't worry about it. So they were still ahead 14-13, so.
That's the truth to it.
But now you got to stop Texas. Make a play.
Right.
Let's stop them.
And we had the defense to do it. I mean, they were very, very good. That's when we had Cheryl
And Cheryl right there, bang.
right. Cheryl was unbelievable, and Stroud was playing on defense then.
So,
wasn't he?
that's right. Sometime.
And Retchishar.
So but Texas moves into Tennessee territory in this fourth quarter. Somehow the
And
defense got to
J.W.
get your ball
Cheryl over
back.
here
yeah.
on this side. Defensive back just made that play.
How much did Texas outweigh you per man?
15, 20 pounds, I'd say.
Yeah, at least that much.
Yeah. But neither of these teams were always stealthy. They're small, quick people, except for me.
Andy was the biggest guy we had on the offensive team.
I weighed 228, and I don't think we had tackles that were 215.
That's right.
So there's the big defensive stop. the
By
interception.
Jimmy Cowboy Hill.
Yes, Jimmy Hill.
That's the way we got it stopped and got the game turned around.
So now you got the ball in Texas territory, but you're still down by a point.
That's right. And here's
This is a
30,
long
77W
struggle.
right here.
Right.
77S.
Yes.
77 is the strong side. And there's
There's
34.
a buck lateral. You see that? This Hahn faked pitch out to the, and I just kept the ball. I guess that was me.
Left formation, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, we fumbled the ball or whatever.
Flag down on that one.
Yeah, the flag's come.
And backfield in motion.
It's execution out of the single wing, right? It's not necessarily
Sheer-
trickery, just
exactly.
execution.
Exactly. You try to get more of your men to a spot than they've got, and then block cleanly.
Now the exchange fumbles.
The exchange
Right,
fumbles,
right.
that's right. I guess that's the biggest play of the ball game right there.
Right, it had to be. But and Hill got it again, did he
Yeah,
not?
that's right, yeah, sure did.
But now the clock's rolling down in desperate times almost.
Right.
And
right.
we're still one. Oh, there's Andy. Here's Jerky going to throw it.
Ooh, he did his imitation.
Yeah, of Charlie Trippy.
Slinging Sammy
Sammy.
ball. That's what it was.
That's right.
Watching the highlight films.
Or
But
Harry
you got the ball
Gilmer.
inside
It
the
was
15.
Harry Gilmer.
Yes.
It was 77S
Oh,
again.
we're down to the 11. I wonder if we're going to get in.
Yeah, I read the script, Andy. We're going to make it.
Good.
Now inside.
Come on, Hank, get. Oh, he should have scored.
Lauricella sets it up for Andy Kozar to score his second
Well,
touchdown of the day.
There he is.
And Kozar takes it in for his second TD. In Tennessee now, you finally got the lead back.
Yeah. But they come back. Texas comes back, and
They're close.
They threaten, which can be scary.
Now, the weather conditions now, it's still raining,
Still
drizzly,
wet.
nasty,
Yeah,
cold.
your uniform must weigh 30 pounds more than it does normally.
Did the general say anything on the sideline to you after you took the lead?
He didn't take time
Don't
to talk
remember.
to us
No,
then.
no.
Are you kidding? There's something
No.
important going on, like a game.
What was his presence like on the sideline? Would he come up and talk to you just like
No.
the assistants do
No,
it?
no. You all had a seat on the bench, and not there, I guess.
Uh,
But normally we sat in a particular spot on the bench.
and he's sitting in a little camp chair, an army chair, folding chair on the sideline.
Between the offense and the defense.
And if anybody, he called you to come up if he wanted to talk to you. You didn't go talk to him.
He didn't go to
And
see
the
you.
coaches stood down on one knee, And yeah, is one of them don't call me, I'll call you deal.
So he was very much a military man through and through.
All the way through, right. I always tell a story about at practices. I remember many times we'd be practicing and Harvey would be there to coach the backfield. And we'd be going through some drill and Nealon
Oh, he fell down.
Yeah.
May have saved us.
And Nealon would walk up and he'd say, tell so-and-so to take 2 steps to the right.
That's right.
And then Harvey would repeat it. Well, the person was already moved.
Pass is incomplete.
Right.
Hanging on by the fingernails right
That's
now.
right.
Right.
And they didn't kick it to field goal, which is, you know, try and reverse. We got
Looks
the
like it's
people.
wide open and it closes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the speed on the defense coming through.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah. Because that guy had a lot of room to run. Or maybe the lack of speed on the part of the guy running the ball.
So you stop him, and now you got to run the clock out.
Put the ball away.
I think
yeah.
it's just, don't drop it. Here we go. That's the last play, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
How big a win was that for the Tennessee program at that time?
It was, you know, great program. Put us on being preseason #1 the next year was how big that win was.
Yeah.
And went through the entire year as #1 until we played the Sugar Bowl.
And I think for Nealon, it was his best. I mean, I think going to Texas and winning in Texas meant a lot to him. I think winning that ball game meant a great, great deal to him because he always thought of himself as a Texan. Even though he lived in Tennessee all those years, he was really a Texan.
I never thought I'd...
For Texas, single wing versus the split C this afternoon. Top gets back to throw pass. He throws it down. Intercepted by Tennessee. And Cowboy Hill has him, the right halfback. He's up to the 35, the 40, up to the 45. Stays on his feet, goes across the 50. He's knocked out of bounds on the Texas 46. Andy Kozar carrying the ball. He's down to the 10. He's all the way down to the 5-yard line. He's up to the 5. Andy Kozar, fullback in Tennessee. And what a human interest story there is on this kid. I hate to break into play-by-play to tell you a story and give you a sob story because I know you don't want it. Just let me say this and I'll make it brief. In 1945, this kid had polio. They told him Tennessee's trailing by 7 points. And they're down on the Texas 5-yard line. Single wing to the left. Hank Lauricella on the tailback. Ball goes back to Andy Kozar. Complete spinner. He's down to the 3. The 2 to the 1. He scores. Kozar scores for Tennessee. That's the boy I was just talking about. Had polio at 45, was told he would never walk again, has just scored a touchdown for the University of Tennessee. Football. Tennessee will be playing for a fumble now to see if they can jar it loose. Ball this time goes to give Dawson. Dawson fumbles the ball and Tennessee recovers. Do hope you're enjoying it. All right, it's Tennessee's ball down on the Texas 11-yard line, and Texas leads by 1 point, 14 to 13, with 3 minutes and 50 seconds remaining to be played in the ball game. The ball goes back to Lauricella, down to the 10. He stays in it. He's down to 5, the 3, the 2, the 1. He rolls into the end zone. The referee says he was stopped on the 1-yard line. It's Tennessee's ball on the Texas 1-yard line. Cotton Bowl from Dallas, Texas. Tennessee out of the huddle very quickly. A single wing. Andy Kozar in. He piles up on the goal line, and he's done it. Of some 78 to 85 yards, depending on whether you say the line of scrimmage or from where he carried the ball. It went 85, well, let's say he went 80 yards. And he set the first touchdown up. We go all the way down to the 5-yard line, and instead of running for the score, Tennessee elected to pass for the touchdown, and Mr. Payne tossed one to Johnny Gruble, making it 6-0. Art Shires converted to make it 7-0 for Tennessee. Then Texas came back. They blocked a punt by Lauricella. He tried to get one off from his own end zone. It was blocked, and Mr. Townsend scored for Tennessee to make it 7-6. Tompkins converted to tie the score, and after that, Mr. Tompkins passed 40 yards to Gibb Dawson for the TD, which put Texas ahead 13-7. Tompkins had converted to make it 14-7, and that's what the score was at halftime. Coming back in the second half, a gallant University of Tennessee team, which should be ranked #1 in the nation now, after Oklahoma having been defeated by Kentucky. Well, they came back. Mr. Kozar culminated a sustained drive of 83 yards when he dove over the center of his own line for the touchdown to make the score 14-13 in favor of Texas. They trailed by 1 to Tennessee. Kozar made it the lead of 19-14 for Tennessee when he scored the second touchdown in the fourth quarter, making the score 19-14 in favor of Tennessee.
experience, a lot of experienced players. We lost Stroud, Sherrill, and Cowboy Hill and Sherrod.
Yeah,
also,
Bud
and
Sherrod,
Bud
yeah.
Sherrod. Those are 4 really good players, but they were able to replace them. Not totally, but they replaced them, and we did
You
well.
were the MVP, the offensive MVP in the game.
Yeah, right. That was a surprise, really and truly, because you'd think that there's a lot more going on than what I did, but there was, as a matter of fact.
But you scored the 2 touchdowns,
Right,
the game winner.
right. But Lauricella had that long run, which was very impressive, and he had a great game also, I thought, in terms of offense, but the defense held him also. They had Bud Sherrod, I think, was the outstanding player for the defense.
You still have the trophy?
Oh, that's a funny story, because I was at the University of Michigan in a doctoral program, and it was like 10 years after the game. Gus Manning mailed me this plaque that was for the MVP thing in the Cotton Bowl. They had just gotten around to making one. It was like 10 years late or whatever. It was kind of amusing, and it's a little plaque kind of a thing. It's neat, yeah.
But you still got it in your office?
Oh, yes. No, I haven't got it in my office. I got it at home. It's where it belongs. But it's very nice. It's a great memory. I think that was one of the best teams, besides Kentucky that year. That Kentucky went to the Sugar Bowl and beat Oklahoma, which is the #1 team in the country. And we beat Texas, which was above us. And even the legislature came out and said that we were probably the #1 team in the country in that year for the 50 season. But as you know, that was when they used to decide the national championship with the season, and then the bowl game didn't count, so it would have worked against us the next year because we won it during the season and we lost to Maryland, which is a good game to remember too.
Not very
It
well.
brings you right back down to the
That's
ground
right.
because we got kicked around in that ball game. That was really something. It was a physical ball game also, didn't you
really
think
was.
so?
It
Yeah,
really
that
was.
Maryland game was unbelievable. That's the one I remember the most. You remember the one you lost more than you do, and we were so certain we were going to do well in that game. We watched all their film, and they didn't play anybody, did they? They played some lousy teams.
About like the ACC now,
Right.
we keep saying about.
Right, and we kept saying, boy, they're not any good. You know, we had in our mind that we were going to go and just wipe them up. And I remember, I mean, looking back as a team, we were not ready to play Maryland that was hungry. And they put the wood to us,
They,
to put it mildly.
they threw a defense at us that we were not ready to play, and
Yeah.
it was a 7-man long run, 5-man long pass, back the nose man out, put a guy between the guard tackle backs and pinch both of them hard. So, you know, and
And they penetrated linebackers.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and then
we would block everybody in the ground. We'd say, oh, and we'd look back and Hank is on the ground.
Linebacker running through.
Linebacker ran through and got him from behind.
Maybe I've told you this, where Wiggs said, I can't find anybody, Michael said, I can't find anybody to block, you know, on this thing. And our other guard said, well, I got one on my side to look you up.
But I've often thought that game there was the death of the single wing. I mean,
Yeah,
I
agree.
I think that people then knew what to do against the single wing. I mean, it became evident that if you run in behind it, you can chase it down because the tailback's out there going 1, 2, 3, cut. Well, by that time, most people on the weak coming from the weak side, you can just run it down. And
Bowl matchup.